Hey, Desiree here with Soulpath Astrology and this week's Oracle card readings and energy report. If you're new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. As I said, my name is Desiree. I am your intuitive counselor here on the channel. If you are looking to connect to the inner guidance system that you know is within you, if you are so ready to build the more beautiful world that your heart knows is possible, if you are just so over the crazy that is going on, but there's some part of you that knows that you chose this moment in time on purpose to be here as a bridge builder, as a midwife into the new evolutionary way of being human, then you are in the right place. It's what we're all about here. If you're returning, as always, welcome back. It's so lovely to have you and your energy collectively pooling in the cauldron that is this space. Quick overview. As always, I'm going to do a little astro energy report, kind of talk about the astro weather, if you will, for the coming week, followed by a brief meditation for us to ground and center together. Then there will be an opportunity to select from 3 cards. After that, you can timestamp fast forward to whichever one resonates, listen to all 3, do whatever you want that lands for you, that feels true. And I always do encourage you that you watch right to the very end because there is a nugget of love usually that gets downloaded for you to take with you into the coming week. What else? If you love these, like them, love them, share them. Please do like the video. If you do like it, hit that button. It means a lot. And share and subscribe. It helps with the algorithms and it just generally helps spread the love. When you do this, it's a really great way to show your support for this channel in a way that doesn't require any money. Okay. So without further ado, let's talk about the astro weather. The first 2 weeks of February are a little more. I almost want to say the calm before the storm, although there's a lot of energy these weeks anyway. After the 17th, it starts to get really crazy. So, next week's video, that's when we'll really deep dive into more of the ins and outs of that. But let's talk about what's going on. February 10th to 16th. I am going to throw in a little bit of the 17th because it's pertinent. But starting on the 10th, Venus moves into Pisces. So, this is a really, Venus is all like feminine and artistic and beauty oriented, and Pisces is all dreamy and it's like the dissolution of boundaries. So February 10th, this is a beautiful day to just like, oh yes, just let yourself drop into self-care and doing things that just feel good. Do them just because they feel good, because they smell good, because they taste good. You might meet somebody on the 10th, in and around the 10th, that feels like a soulmate. Maybe this is some from the past. Maybe this is something brand new. Maybe what it is you just get a clarity around what you're really ready for in relationship. Maybe it has nothing to do with relationships. Just throwing that out there. The 14th, Saturn moves into Aries. So Neptune has been there for a little bit. This is the event of the year, though the exact conjunction doesn't happen until the 20th. But we're going to start to get the feel of it now as it comes into, as Neptune, sorry, as Saturn comes into Aries. We have to be mindful. Saturn in Aries can be very one of 2 things. So at its lowest octave, it's very warmongery. It's very angry. At its highest octave, there's an invitation here to, and to draw from my own personal experience and some of the stories of people like friends and that are in my life right now and what's coming up for them around anger and their observations around anger. We need to learn how to metabolize this, how to feel the heat within the body and recirculate it and metabolize it. So it's not about repressing, nor is it about expressing, except maybe in a safe place like your pillow or in your journal. This isn't about expressing it externally, like especially if it's like, let's say it's somebody that you're really angry at. Once we express it externally to that person, it reopens the circuit because now maybe they're going to come back. Maybe we're opening it up to more fighting. And especially if this is a situation that there is no real closure. Like that other person has already indicated that they are unable to meet you in kind, either because they're dead or they're addicts or they have mental health issues, whatever it is, it's in the way of them being able to meet you in kind, like where you are both seeking peace, whatever that environment is. Now, whether the other is like literally a person, or maybe it's a situation, maybe it's an environment, but something that you're at odds with, something that you have anger with. Right now, there is such, and we're going to see this over the next few years, but this call to learning how to metabolize it and to condense it into something useful. Saturn is about boundaries. Aries is about starting new things. Saturn is about hierarchy. This is conjunction is going to happen at 0 point Aries on the 20th. And this is like a whole new storyline. So, what needs to burn down in terms of our structure, in terms of our hierarchy, in terms of things that we have boundaries around that are not serving us? And where do we need to instill boundaries that are legitimately supportive? So, this is like that Mars energy, that Aries energy is all about breaking the rules. So now we have Saturn in the sign that wants to break rules. So the sign, the planet of rules in the sign of breaking them. It can be challenging, but this is also where we need to really become cognizant and wise in our decisions about where we place structure, where we put no, and allowing our anger, because there is a righteous anger. Like there is, that's an anger is a natural response to a boundary being crossed. So let's look at the boundaries we have right now. Look at what's pissing you off. What boundaries around your own value systems are getting crossed internally, personally, in your own little life, and globally. Because as we're moving more and more into this year and into next, we're going to be called into this global community way of thinking, this like collective understanding of the interconnectedness of everything. So the rules need to apply across the board. And they need to be not controlling rules, but supporting rules. So this is going to take this dissolution of a lot of our hierarchy, our conditioned old models that we've been operating under. They're dissolving for a reason. And we're moving into areas where we can start to like forge like a sword. We can forge a new way, a better way, a more equitable, more sustainable, more regenerative way of doing everything, really. 16th, the sun squares Uranus and Mercury trines Jupiter. Oh, anytime there's a square with Uranus or Uranus, expect the unexpected. Expect out of nowhere. This is tower card moments, especially the sun, and a square is a challenging aspect. So the sun is like our driving force. Expect there to be some crazy illumination around something you didn't even see coming. And trust that process. And then with Mercury trining Jupiter at the same time, it's like Mercury is communication and Jupiter is expansiveness. Trine is a really great, it's a very soft, smooth flowing aspect. And so something crazy is going to be easy to talk about. There's going to be a lot of talking about it. Maybe it'll be some sort of disclosure or whatever. But I really want to encourage us to become aware of when talking about something becomes just a distraction. Like obviously initially it's important. It's like a label. Like at first being labeled, like being diagnosed with something can be helpful because it gives you some kind of context. But then it becomes a crutch. It becomes too confining, or people start to like over identify with their label that they've been given, and it becomes its own prison. And so these two aspects happening on the same day, it's like something is going to be a label, a diagnoses, a revelation is going to happen. Be careful to just use that as a springboard and to not get fixated on it. And don't just keep talking about something, do something. Like this whole year, especially as we enter into the fire horse. So as of the 17th, yes, as of the 17th, which is incidentally when we also have the solar eclipse. So The last time we had this solar eclipse in the sign that it's in, which I believe is Aquarius, was in 2008. So you remember what happened in '08? Do you remember what happened to the markets in '08? We had that huge financial crash. Expect something potentially similar like that. Maybe there's this huge announcement around crypto or around a new way of doing money. Money as a means of exchange isn't going anywhere. It's such a convenient way to barter, right? And so we're going to continue to have some kind of a intermediary between me and between you and my service and what you're needing and vice versa, right? It's going to be some kind of money. Is it going to be crypto? Is it going to be, we're going to have a huge crash around that? Is the government going to come in and really try to control it? Are we going to let that happen? These are the sort of things that are coming up, and just sticking our heads in the sand and pretending that it's not happening isn't going to serve us, but neither is like obsessively trying to predict the future. So there's this call to come into something balanced between those two extremes, where you're either like, no, 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 pretending none of it's happening, or obsessively managing, going down every single rabbit hole, making connections where there aren't any in this attempt for control. So that's this week. It's going to be busy, and yet it's not even going to be nearly as busy as the following week. So create a lot of spaciousness in your schedule as much as you can to give yourself room to metabolize, room to contemplate, room to journal. Get outside in nature, you guys. I cannot stress the deep value of spending time outside. No podcasts in your ears, no, like, well, I guess that just no podcasts in your ears, no music, even unless it's like classical, or no lyrics. Like, just let nature find you, let nature nourish you, let nature replenish you and recode you back to factory settings, because it's tumultuous this year. There's massive upheaval happening this year. And if you're on this channel, it's probably some part of you is already starting to identify, like, despite the chaos and the crazy, there's some part of you that's like, it's okay, I got this. Spend time connecting to that. Spend time connecting to the part of that energy in you that just knows, that deep wisdom that you can just lean back and relax into. Cultivate that practice, because we're going to need it a lot as the year moves forward. Okay. Astro Weathers, that's that. Let's get into our meditation, which incidentally is a really lovely place to start if you're feeling overwhelmed. Just come back to these videos and just listen to these little 1-2 minute meditations. Okay. So, closing your eyes, I just want to invite you into the space. Let your breath lead you back to your body. Riding the wave, the swell and the ebb, the flow of your in breath and your out breath. Just letting it be what it needs and wants to be of its own accord. Maybe you're like me and making that audible exhale just feels so good in your body. So if that's you, go ahead. Arriving here in this time and space in your body with your breath. Noticing the weight of your pelvis in the chair, your feet on the ground, and the feel of that solidness beneath them. Knowing that in this moment, there's nowhere to go, nothing to do, nothing you need to be. And all of you is welcome here. And when you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes and return back to the space with me. Let's do our cards. Okay, here's this week's selection. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Beep. Okay, card 1. This was your selection. This is what you got. The Ace of Swords. I love this card. It cuts through the shit. Okay. The Ace of Swords is Archangel Michael energy. This is so Aries, actually. This is so Saturn in Aries because it's like coming in and it's cutting through the crap. It's cutting through the clutter. It's cutting through your own blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay. And it's also like victory and progress and do, 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 do. Like an image that comes to mind if you were around in the 80s as a kid growing up is like, I don't know if you remember He-Man, but he'd like hold the sword up and like, by the power of Gray Skull, he'd be vested with these powers. That is the Ace of Swords. There's a leadership quality to it. So if this was your card, maybe this is like an affirmation of you stepping into more of a leadership role. Maybe it's a self leadership role. Maybe it's leadership of a team, but it's like this. If you think of it coalescing into this like one, the ace, it's a one and it's very strong. And a sword always cuts through, right? It's also, sword is the suit of air. So this is like thinking and speaking. So maybe your thinking gets clear. And with the Ace of Sword, the action you take on that thinking is effective. Don't talk yourself out. If you have felt this clarity, then walk in that direction. Don't talk yourself out of your own wisdom. Don't talk yourself out of your own motivation. We are entering into go time. Like, the time of gestating is over. And now we're moving into go time. So let that sword energy lead the way. Let the light of your heart lead the way and let yourself cut through the bullshittery, cut through the illusion, and because there's no shortage of it out there. And trust that inner guidance system of yours to lead the way. Yeah, I think we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. Okay, card number 2. Doop, doop, doop. What did you get? What'd you get? Let's see. The Nine of Pentacles. I feel like this has come up a lot. And I love this card. I'm always so happy when it comes up because it is about like luxury. It's about like there's this sense of ownership and completion and pride and like through your hard work, you now have financial independence. Like that would be like a phrase that would go with it. In the original deck, it's a woman in a garden. She's got like a falcon, like a hawk on her arm. And this is like, that was historically what was used for hunting. So there's this quality of this balance between the masculine and the feminine and like refinement. It's like you think about a hawk in terms of how it hunts, right? Like it's very precise. There's a refinement, there's a discernment. So this card is pointing towards that you have cultivated this as a quality and that your action and your hard work is paying off in dividends. And you might not see it quite yet, though you might be. But just if you're not quite seeing it, just trust that it's on the way. Like this is like an affirmation that your hard work is paying off, that you are doing really very well in your leadership and in yourself, like your self leadership and your self discipline. Yeah, success, prosperity, yeah, all of that. It's such a lovely card. Like, and again, that hawk energy, there's something about the suit, like the sword, the first card, and this card that have kind of a similar energy, like a precision and a sharpness of wit, a sharpness of clear sight, and success from that. Like feel into the archetype of that, of just like clarity, clarity, precision, shving. That's what I want to say about that. Anything else that wants to come up? Mm, no, just trust that precision of your inner guidance system and give yourself permission to like if you're going to buy something, buy a good thing and then take good care of it. Like that's really there's an energy of that as well with the 9 of Pentacles. Like this is about it's luxury, but it's like quality and like buy it once, like that kind of yeah, an appreciation for the finer quality things and not just getting lost in the name brand, but actually the quality. Like Yeah. Yeah. We'll just leave that there. Okay. Last but never least, what do you got here? Temperance. I love this card too. So this is Major Arcana, first of all. So if this was your card, this is like a big deal. This is the universe speaking in caps. Sometimes it's really simple, like just go drink more water. But mostly, temperance is about like a return to balance. Maybe you've been out of balance in an area of your life. The temperance card is like if you have been overdoing it over here, do its opposite and bring yourself back into equilibrium. There's also a quality of like restoring peace or calm. There's an invitation when temperance shows up in a reading to spend some time near the water, like the river, ocean, lake, maybe have a bath, like an Epsom salt bath. This is about frugalness. So, where the Nine of Pentacles is celebrating and spending, temperance, she's about like, do your math. Like, sometimes you need to spend money to make money, but be mindful about it. Frugalness, but not in being cheap, but rather like coming from a place of deep reverence, deep devotion, deep respect, making choices based from that place, you know, and spending your resources, time, money, or energy. It's not just money, right? Like, where are you spending your focus? Where are you spending your energy? Where are you spending the time? What are you thinking about a lot? What are you talking about a lot? And where can you do less of that so that when you do spend money, energy, focus, it's elevated because it hasn't just been spread around. Like this has been spent consciously and with intention. It elevates the value of your focus, of your time, of your energy when you treat it as though it's limited and precious because it is. So the temperance is like inviting you into that recognition. Mm. And if you've been overdoing it, it's an invitation to like relax. Like, and if overdoing it, you've been overdoing it in underdoing it, then the invitation is to get going. Temperance is like equilibrium, right? It's not equal, but it's balanced. So where are you needing to invite in more balance? That's the temperance card. So hope that landed. I hope that landed. If you want a deep dive, get a reading of your own where we can talk about your gifts, your skills, your talents, your challenges, and within the container of your natal chart. Also, we can drop in some human design and gene keys if it's helpful. And I love adding cards into these readings, into the container of a reading. You know where to find me. The link to my calendar is in the description of the video, as well as a pinned comment. If you like these videos, please, for heaven's sakes, hit the like button. Let me know you like them. So I'm not just like out here, woohoo, into the wilds with no feedback. I love your feedback. It helps me so much. Attuned to my own, why am I doing this? And it also adds like seasoning to the soup. So please do participate. Please do add your energy. Please, like I said, just like the video, share it with anyone you think that might resonate with it. And yeah, let's settle in for our final nugget of love here. Where are we at? As we enter into the second week of February, remember that this is the last week before we enter into the fire horse, the year of the fire horse. This is the very last week of the snake. What needs to be shed? Let it go. Let your sword of discernment cut through what needs to be cut through. Don't turn around and look in the rearview mirror. Don't drive forward looking in the rearview mirror. We are entering into an entirely new era. There is so much astrologically. Some of it hasn't even happened for like 5,000 years. That's back in the skies. Like this year is all about building civilizations, about creating something that is for us so new. It's ancient and new. It's about letting these old, distorted, outdated, broken down shit systems collapse without rushing to fix them and without yapping about them too much. Like just extract the salient points and then move forward and build what you actually want. We need to be so disciplined about grabbing our thoughts and focusing it towards what we want to build rather than continuously like bemoaning what we don't like or the horror of it. Whoa, like it's all disclosed. Like it's wild the horror of horrors that is like we've been living under, and yet nobody's doing anything about it because it's like its own distraction to just talk about it. So cut through your own shit, cut through that habit, that addiction, and instead start to gather people around you that are moving towards whatever that is that's in your heart, that way of being community, this grassroots Aquarian energy. It's grassroots, community based, like most real. Come down from being up in the clouds and like ground these ideals into your reals and start building what you actually want. You're really going to find you're getting traction as the month progresses, certainly as the year progresses. But like, use this last week to get really clear about what you want and to declutter out of your life physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, everything that might still be clinging that you no longer need because the time is now. The rehearsal is over and we get to start building the way more beautiful, way more fun, way more silly and loving and bright and beautiful world that our hearts know is possible. I love you. I hope you have a fabulous week. And in the meantime, I hope that, I don't know, something really fabulous happens, some really cool surprise that you didn't see coming that is just the greatest thing ever happens to you. Okay. Between now and then. And in the